I'm going to miss install Classic Client to Network and show you that in a next lesson. Instead, what I'm going to do is install the Classic Client from CD. This is so that I can prove that the Keyfile document server is up and running. Select the option from the master installation screen, and the wizard takes us through the installation. I'm going to continue because I already know that I want to install this, and I'm going to accept the license agreement. Next screen asks me what my source for the program files are, and that should be the currently selected directory either on CD or on the network. Next it says, where do I want to install this to? Well, I wish to install this to my C drive, and I also want to install it to my program files directory. Did you see earlier that the document server installation asked us if we wanted to install the remote console and put it in program files Keyfile? Well, I'm going to put my Classic Client in the same directory. It's detected that there's a previous version installed in that directory. Well, that would be correct, and this would be the same whether we had a remote console on the server or if we had an older version of Keyfile Classic installed. I'm going to select Continue, and for this installation I have several choices. I'm going to choose Custom and copy files from network to client, which makes a fat client. However, I do have the option of installing everything or installing the desktop only, and if I wish and I have a network installation, I can reference the files across the network. This gives me a smaller footprint on my local client. Next, I have to choose the various options that I wish to have on my Keyfile Classic desktop. Each of the options can either be selected or deselected, and we can choose from another number of options within each section. I'm going to take all of these options because I can support sound on my system for sound annotations in the Classic Client. I'm going to take all of the viewers because I don't know which documents and which formats I'm going to have on my system ultimately. The utilities are useful for servers but not necessarily for client installations. So I will take all of these, but as with any of the options I can select and deselect these. Notice we have KDS Remote Console here again. This is a 16-bit version of the remote console. I'm not going to have any of the mail gateways on this server, but I am going to accept the help files. This is a standard normal installation that I would put on a Keyfile server to prove that the system is up and running. I have a verification dialog saying about all of the options that I've chosen, and I simply press Continue. The installation continues through, copying all of the files to the directory that I've chosen. This shouldn't take too long and requires about 20 megabytes of files. If you have any system files which are declared as read-only, you must always overwrite these for Keyfile to function correctly. On completion, we're going to be presented with some environmental options. Typically, we wish to take all of these environmental options as default. Which program group are we going to choose to put these in? Typically we choose a new program group and call it Keyfile. That completes the installation of the software itself. Now we need to specifically choose the network protocol we're going to use. We should be just able to take all of the defaults on this screen. So the network options installation, welcome screen, license agreement screen. Yes, this is for a Keyfile client, but notice we could choose to reinstall the network options for a document server. There are two types of TCP/IP services, one with name services and one without. The default is to be without the name services, and this is recommended. You must have a very specific reason for using Keyfile name services, and it is really only there as a legacy support item. Finally, we need to select the directory which contains the Keyfile program files. Well, if you remember, it was in program files and then under Keyfile. And it simply installs the network support option. And we finish.